now, like once we go live.
All right.
And we are live. What's up, y'all? This is Chris Carr. You are watching Just for My People, a new interview series that we're doing, Brooklyn Wildlife in the Spot. Yeah. And today I have a special guest. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Yo, what's good, man? I go. My name's Quentin Counts. I go by the name of QC, MC, rapper, producer, all that stuff.
All right. So we're going to give people a quick second to get on here and start following. In the meantime, like you said, you're an MC, you're a DJ, producer, curator. Give people a little bit of rundown on who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, so I was born in North Carolina and raised in Harlem. I lived all over the East Coast prior to that, though. So yeah, man. So I started off as a rapper. I mean, before that, technically, I was drawing a lot, but that never really flourished. I guess I just wasn't in the right situation, really, or I got distracted by other stuff. So I ended up being a rapper because everybody around me was a rapper. I looked up to mad rappers. You know, I knew rappers, so that just naturally happened. And then I got into DJing because I was throwing house parties, and a lot of times I'll plug in my iPod to the speakers and have a blast, you know. And I just love that whole. I love that whole dynamic of like the relationship between the DJ and the event and that context. So, yeah, man. And then like I met you, and then kind of went to a whole other level. What was possible as a curator, you know. So I just started exploring, you know, challenging myself. What else can we do? What kind of impact can we make? How can we just not make it a party? So I just ended up doing that, and I just started just like seeing myself as like a event producer, you know. But so yeah.
Word. And so for people that do or don't know, where are you from in Harlem?
115th Street, Madison. You know what I'm saying? People call it crackhead Harlem, but as you know, it's basically Spanish Harlem, you know, the black block in Spanish Harlem.
and when we started working together, I think I met you through Taekwon. Like he and I had met randomly downtown. Like I was outside of a photo shoot and he was shooting a music video. We linked up, and then he was supposed to come by the studio, and I was at like Roberta's for the Tiki Disco or something, and Taekwon's like, "Yo, I'm not 21, I can't get in," and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's rocking out here! I gotta leave the spot." But then we went back to the studio, and I think he had you come through. What was your first impressions when you started working with the wildlife? Oh, yo, your screen froze, bruh. Can you hear me?
Right. I can hear you more now. Actually, it might be. I'm on a regular Wi-Fi network, not the 5G. That should be happening.
Yeah. So when you first started working with the wildlife, what was your impression?
Is that what it is? Oh, so yeah, man. I met Taekwon. So yeah, I met him through a friend of a friend, and he was already like, I knew he's from Harlem by talking to him, but he was like different, which you know I liked because you know I felt like I didn't like that either where I was at, even though I knew how to play the part. So he was like, "Yo, listen, like you should come through to Brooklyn. It's hard to explain. Come through." And I was like, "Yo, first of all, you know, especially the New Yorkers, you know." That's mad far. Even though we'll go to Miami and PA in a heartbeat, but it's like, why you want to go to Brooklyn? That's mad far, yo. Like fuck, you know. So we went out there, and well, the first time I met you, it was at a Taekwon performance. He invited me to his performance, and you was there. You was like, I'll be throwing parties in my loft and having performances. And I would love to have y'all come through and perform. And in my head, I'd never heard of a loft, so I'm like, what? You throw party? All right, I understand you threw house party. But you said performances. I never really seen. Huh? All right, I'll come through. And then came through. I forgot what that first event experience was like. It's the most eclectic thing I've ever seen or experienced. But yeah, man, that time of Tiki Disco joint though, I remember we went out to go meet you, and it was just so funny how casually you would just be a part of and just do events and then go on to the next thing, like because we went there to go see you, and yeah, Taekwon couldn't get through. And he was like, "Really, you can't get in, bro?" Like, you know, how old are you? Oh, you know, you came out and yeah, let's go to the studio. I forgot what you was wearing, but I was like, "What the?" You know, he had the glasses that the shades that they just hand out, and I was like, I looked behind. You came out some weird door, and I saw like this. I don't know what it was, like maybe like this vacant lot turned to an event space. I'm looking in there. I'm like, what the hell's going on in there? Like, hey, let's go to the studio. I'm like, so what was? All right, whatever, yeah. And then we went to your crib, and then that's when I met Keith. for those who don't know, it's like the other half, the origins at least of like Brooklyn Wildlife, man. And this one is DJ stuff, and a producer. And we just had like a little recording session, and we kind of recorded like a album on the spot, and it really going experiences like that were just so free flowing and catching raw expression and stuff like that, and not coaxing anybody into this type of like fitting some sort of style or image. It's kind of like come as you are. That whole studio experience and meeting up with you, it kind of is like it feels to me like a metaphor analogy for what the whole Brooklyn Wildlife experience has been.
Word, I mean,
it's there that I've never seen in my life. And then I see somebody that's like from the same hood as me. I'm like, what the hell? And we both looked at each other like, yeah. Oh, so that was kind of cool. Like, yeah. Now I'm going for days about this. Like,
now, too, hold on. I'm gonna need you to do me a favor. If you have your phone on your Wi-Fi, can you disconnect your phone from the Wi-Fi?
What's up?
I'm getting some like signal interference, or like you're not coming through.
Disconnect my phone?
Yeah, from the Wi-Fi.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. Okay, or if there are any other like kind of computers on the Wi-Fi, if you can disconnect them so you get all your signal.
I got you.
Cause Jay, you keep freezing up on me. And you may have to close some of the windows in your internet or like in your browser, because you are frozen. Today you were watching Just For My People. We got Que Cee, Quentin Counts. We're gonna be talking about art and music, and he just disappeared. All right, we're gonna bring him back. Give it 2 seconds. I'm your host, Chris Carr. You know me as Parn Hash, the most rough, gruff, truculent. Your friends walk around with their nose in the air. My eyes, they look like Snuffleupagus.
Ooh.
All right, Que Cee's back in the building.
Hey,
so you came through, and we did the like who got the tree. Yeah. We did that. What was it? The hash sessions.
Hash sessions. I was literally just watching one of the throwback videos from that. Like literally just watching that.
Yeah, that was lit. And so, how would you say, like when you first came through, your feeling of like how was this different or the same as other kind of recording setups you've been in or working with people?
Well, for one, I think it was immensely comfortable. I mean, for one, I got to set the context because because my introduction into like recording studios wasn't always positive, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of helped me really, really, really appreciate what was going on. Like, as a rapper, I was going through changes. So like I had recording studios where like somebody with like a name or like a recording engineer or producer invite you to their studio. He invited us to come through and record a song at the studio. All right, cool. Then we go there, like we there just for 2 hours. He just making us listen to the tracks that he did with other notable people. We're like, yo, I thought I was here to rap. Like, I'm out, or you go there and it's kind of like everybody there just kind of peer pressure each other into like being this or being that, or it's more motivated by like, let's blow up and make it out of the hood. What sound do they want? They want this kind of sound, so we gotta do this kind of sound. It's kind of like it didn't like it. You can find like because somewhere in there, because they fetishize a lot of our struggles, there is like a space to like really express how you feeling about something, but then the rest of it just kind of feel like objectifying or just kind of like I'm not even able to catch my full spectrum of feelings, and it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? So so I started to get like feeling like stunted a bit, things were starting to feel like redundant, and then plus of course like I was like involved with people. There was like a lot of bad stuff going on. There was like people just beating each other up, robbing each other, shooting each other, sometimes in the studio, you know what I'm saying? Like like right there, like, and I had a home studio, like it's happened in my house, like, you know what I'm saying? So like it was just like, it's like, man, all this is the price of just making music, like like damn, son. And always just policing each other in these real toxic ways, it felt like. But there was also, you can still feel the power of that music could have, where like, so I was already feeling like this discontentment, just kind of like was doing it. So when I met you, it was right on time. So going back to that session, meeting like you and Keith, for one, with that janky ass McKibben building, because like you walk up, it's not even like a straight up door. You remember how I used to get into Keith's spot? You know what I mean? You had to walk down to the end of the building, and he'll come out like this janky little shady door, and you go into like this. It's not even like a door. It's like a something you like a portal. You go in there, you get to the elevator. I'm like, I'm amazed at all of this. Like, yo, these people are able to live. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you pay your bill? Like, how this is? It felt like freedom. You know, it felt new, and I liked it. So we get in there, and he was just throwing on beats, and so we started off ciphering, and then you started pulling out the mic, and then you say, "Oh, you know what you got?" And I'm like, "Oh, bars for days," you know. So we just started rapping, and then some of the stuff I came with on the fly, a lot of it premeditated, and then next thing you know, like a while later, you was like, "Yo, we having a release for like we finished those recordings, we mixed them down, all of that stuff. Actually, we're gonna shoot a video for one of the songs." And I'm like, "All right, man." I went through there. I met Tev 95 when I thought he was just the camera guy. Turns out he had a lot more going on. And then just the party in general, it was just kind of like it was a really great. Just the vibe was just priceless, man. It was like something that I've always wanted, you know. So to see somebody else just doing that, it was always like it was crazy. Like, you know, I know you like really like you don't really like getting in the spotlight or people like giving you mad compliments or like props like that. Like it gets weird, I get it, but like it's mad props and respect to you for that because there was always this element of like, is this possible? You know what I mean? I wasn't sure. Like I would experiment with stuff and like, all right, this felt right, you know, but then seeing you doing it and then on the level you was doing it, that really gave me a lot of reassurance and gave me the confidence to go at certain things, like, and to like pave a new way if I didn't see it, which what you did on a regular.
I mean, it's wild. You were in that first generation. Like when you look at the X-Men or you look at some of these comics, how there's that first class. You was in the first group of people that we started branching out and working with. Like when Brooklyn Wildlife started, it was really me and Keith as a 2-person team. And then we met Taekwon, who then brought in you. And then that branched out to, you know, we had linked up with Tev, and then Tev brought some Shotty. And then through also some of the Harlem Cats, Chaz Van Queen, and then O'Hene and other folks. And it was like amazing to me to see these group of folks come together that in a way were so different because no one rapped the same. Like Taekwon don't rap like anybody else. You didn't rap like anybody else. You coming through had a little harmony on the hooks and you know what I'm saying? We're vibing it out.
A little bit.
And then by the time we shot the video, you know, like Tev helped out shooting.
Yeah.
You had the other homie who came through who was doing fashion, I think, at the time.
Yeah, Toyan. Shout out to Toyan, man.
You know,
I think it was like Taekwon cousin.
Yeah, you know, so it was like bug. Like for me, being not from New York, it felt really like good to harness that energy of like I used to live in Harlem. I lived on 135th in Amsterdam. I lived on 151st and Broadway. Yeah. But y'all still had a totally different element than what I had experienced when I was up there. Right. And it was dope to have that included in like the beginning fabrics. Yeah. And we going to do shows like, remember James Watson's spot, like Next Level and
Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom.
Never forget Rock Bottom, man. Shout out to Lindsay, yo. Shout out to Lindsay. I miss all of them.
And the way it was like cast that rap. Like I felt really excited and proud that we could do this on the spot mixtape. Like literally you got verses, run it. Put the beats on, run it.
Let's do it. Yeah. You know,
and so then how do you see yourself as progressing? Because again, when I met you, you had raps talking about pulling out the Crocodile Dundee knife on motherfuckers.
yo, you would never let me live that down either, yo. Like that shit, like, yo, like it's funny though, cause like now if I ever like I don't even cause like I already was getting uncomfortable spitting my old stuff. But like I like how you always made it a point to like remind me, and especially if you introducing me, you make it clear, like, yo, this dude used to rap about pistols and crocodile. Like, he was a computer tech. And I'm like, come on, man.
Now it makes sense. Like I remember when we talked, I was like, so what are you doing? You're like, oh, computer tech stuff and da-da-da. And I'm like, yo, yeah. And we kept talking. And then you told me more about your upbringing and your life experiences and the neighborhood you grew up in and the people you've been around. And so I was never like, yo, he raps about fake shit. And so that's why I never have been like, you shouldn't have rapped about what you rapped about. It's amazing to see how it's grown and changed.
Yeah, man, you're a big part of that. You're a huge part of that, man. There were songs that I never released that I recorded that I never put out because I was like, I don't think there's anybody who's interested in it, or maybe it'll throw people off. And then you were like the opposite. You were like, well, what else do you have to talk about? Like, all right, you told me about this and that. We know about that. Thank you. What else you got? You know. So yeah, man. So like, I'm always gonna act bashful when you do that, but I appreciate when you do roast me like that because it helps me appreciate you know what I mean, the shift, but yeah, man, like you were one of the few people that I met, like especially like black men, where like me, Taekwon, whoever be at your crib, and Taekwon would be like nigga, 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 and you be like, yo, can you not say that in my crib? Like I've never. It sounds weird to say, but like I've never seen nobody do that. Aside from somebody's mom who was just like nobody curses in my crib. You know what I mean? But it was very specific. You said nah, none of the nigga shit. So and then the other thing was we all did this collaborative album about love, and you invited people out to no matter what type of art that they do. By the way, like I love how so many types of artists, so many different mediums from so many different backgrounds who from so many different levels of their career. Like you'll meet people who did these crazy things, or you'll meet people who'll be like, nah, I kind of just enjoy doing what I'm doing, so that was cool. But anyway, there was like this collaborative album, and then you were like, yeah, whatever you got, let me know, come through. We got a few producers involved, and record what you got. But the only rule is the content got to be about love, not no arbitrary verses, arbitrary this and that. You got, it got to be about love, whether it's a person, place, or a thing. It got to be about love. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. I like that. It's a challenge. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I was pacing around all night one night. I was on Roosevelt Island coming up with that verse. And I came through, and I still was kind of like deciding, and you were like giving me feedback as I was doing it. So I started this one verse, and it was like the long nights, the short days, the short breaths, the long strokes, the songs wrote. Now let's compose a love song so strong the guitar broke. And I had some more bars that I had coming after that, but I was like, and I ended up starting over, which ended up being like, got a crush on this little lady, you probably know it. And so, and then, and so I ended up just rolling with that. And this is like the verse when I'm talking about, it's a love letter to Brooklyn, and just talking about the whole experience, you know what I'm saying? But and then you were kind of like, yo, I mean, cause we don't have a chorus. Why don't you just take that first 4 bars that you was about to do and just make that the hook? And I was like, long nights. There's no days. Hey, I like it a lot. And I don't think you'll ever understand how much that song means to me, because that whole song came about via my experience with Brooklyn Wildlife. You know what I mean? And the fact that you are an MC that I look up to, and you were on that song with me, and I recorded that song with you, that song will always be a part of me, yo. So
that's one of those songs where anyone who knows me, my goal is you get me on a track, I'm trying to just be me. I don't want to have to change how I rap. I don't want to have to accommodate how the other person raps. And I'm not normally a storyteller or kind of a narrative rapper, but I heard your verse, and it was like all the metaphors about like different boroughs, and it's like a metaphor for women and being in love. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to rap with this? And that never happens to me. I'm the type of cat where I'm not worried about getting on tracks with people. I'll burn anybody. But when I heard that, I was like, dog. And you're like, yo, you gonna record your verse? I was like, give me a second. I'm gonna get to it. I'm not gonna record it today. And I had to like go back and write and be like, God damn it, yo, how does Bama come in like that? Give me a second. And so it's dope, because that's what's supposed to happen. Like your verse, you want to rap better, and not like in a way to be like, oh, this Bama QC's whack. It's like, yo, that shit's tight. Yeah. I gotta hold up to that. I gotta make sure I like respect what he did on the track.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, I appreciate you, man.
That's what it's all about. It's really all about making somebody, give somebody the incentive to want to try and give it their best. It's easy to be like, oh, I'm talented, I'm just going to just express myself, and that's cool. But it's for somebody to give you that, like, no, I'm gonna really make sure that I put mad thought into this. Like that kind of incentive is like, it's like a beautiful thing, man. When somebody can do that for you, and you did it for me a lot, bro.
Yeah, and so from being an MC, also around that time period, you started branching out and putting together some panels. What were some of the discussions or some of the panels that you put together that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, well, first off, shout out to Stephanie Brown. And what was her boyfriend name? The dude that ran Rock Bottom. No, he ran Next Level.
Who? James Watson or
James Watson? Shout out to Stephanie Brown, James Watson, because I think the first thing I saw, it was a curated panel that I think y'all did together, actually, or at least you was on the panel. And like shout out to them, they parties was dope. You know what I'm saying? They was doing all kinds of eclectic shit. I was like, oh my God, like this is weird, in a great way. But so I remember He was talking about, I think it was Brooke, I think it was the 10 Days of Art.
Or 12 Days of Art, yeah.
12 Days of Art. And then I was like, me and you was gonna just do an event together or whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna help. We can be like, and no, you was like, yo, Q, you want to do a party? You want to do an event? Yeah, you can do one, what you want to do. And I'm just kind of like, well, I was thinking it could be like this, Wolfset and Brooklyn Wildlife kind of thing, anytime like, yo, you can just say it's a Wolfset thing. Oh, no, I think it was like, yeah, we can make it a Brooklyn Wildlife, this and that. And you were like, yo, don't you got like this whole Wolfset thing? Like, why don't you just make it like a Wolfset thing and you're collaborating with Brooklyn Wildlife? Like, own it. And I was like, yeah, right. And then you gave me reins, to do that. So that led to the curated panels. But even before that, I think you had me curate something at Paperbox. That was the night you got locked up.
Whoa.
So, yeah, so that time you got locked up, that was hilarious. And
allegedly,
and you let me book some artists, which that was cool to do because there was these people, these lanes where I didn't know how to do it on my platform. So it was cool. Exactly. Yeah. Chris Carr got locked up that night, and
come on, bro. Again, allegedly, somebody you may have heard that out in the streets. We don't know.
Yeah. All I know is I showed up, so I booked a few artists who like some I'm still in touch with, had great memories with, met via that event. That was new for me to do that in the supporting role, so it felt more freedom. Genres that I've never booked for, so people that I dead thought was dope. So, and then so I showed up. The booker I think it was Booker Eric. I never forget Eric. He said, "Yo, you QC?" And I ain't know whether they admitted it or not. I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Yo, Chris Carr got locked up. You in charge tonight." I was like, "What?"
All right. So allegedly, I may have gotten detained.
Yeah, and for like, what was it, robbery, right? It was like robbery.
Bro, you know I ain't robbing nobody. But allegedly, I may have gotten detained, and it's like, all right, who you gonna call? I'm like, I was on my way to work, dog. I gotta call the club, and I call Eric. And I'm like, yo, dog, I'm in jail, and he's like, you for what? You don't do shit. And I'm like, I know, chill out. I'm gonna be out in a couple hours. But you got to find QC. He's going to run the event for me tonight. Tell him he got to run the event. But I didn't get a chance to tell QC. I didn't get a chance to tell you what was going on. I had to just tell Eric, like, go find him. I'll be there later. And when I got there, you were holding it down. That was one of those, like, I got out. I ran over. And I'm like, oh, shit, everything's okay. All right, QC held it down. I fucked with this dude.
Yo, word, that I ain't gonna lie, that meant a lot because it was like getting to impress the sensei, and I proved something to myself too. But yeah, man, so that happened before the curated thing. So then the event came, it was like a curated panel when we did that at Art and Shipping. Shout out to Que Cee. And we pretty much, it was the same, basically the same, concept as like what Stephanie Brown did, but just to get people from different angles of it, different levels of the game, different angles, different backgrounds to talk about their perspective, what they picked up. From there, it was like, yo, let's do more. So we ended up doing like art, a visual arts panel, which we had you on. So they'd be like photographers, painters, curators in a traditional sense, people that worked in art and shipping or whatnot, all kind of chiming in, and they kind of, same concept with the film and same concept with the MCing and stuff like that. So, it just ended up being like, yo, what changed my life was getting insight from people that play different parts in the game, not just the ones that get all the spotlight all the time. That's how you really understand, what you're doing. So I'm always meeting all these multimedia artists, and it's kind of like I be feeling privileged being able to meet some of them and like picking up some of the game. So I'm just kind of like, damn, son. Like, damn, Chris, I wonder what a conversation between you and Sarah from this art and shipping company, how y'all conversation would go. I wonder if you know how she feels about so-and-so. I wonder if she knows how you feel about so-and-so. I wonder if other photographers and other people that work in that realm would find this interesting. So that kind of what inspired it, and just kind of like, breaking up the monotony with like performances, a little bit DJing, free alcohol, stuff like that. Shout out to what was that venue that we did that at, the visual arts panel?
Where was it?
It was on Broadway.
Was it Living Gallery?
Living Gallery. Shout out to Living Gallery, yo.
Yeah, that's Nissa.
Yeah, Nissa. Yeah. Word.
So, and then from there, you branch out MC, you doing the curation, you doing the discussion panels, and then what made you like step up the DJ game where you went from just plugging in your iPhone to then getting the for real, getting the controller and I remember when you didn't even do blends, dog. You just went from one song to the next, and I'd be in the back like, what the hell is going on? All right, he's gonna figure it out. And now you be doing blends and go down to speed up and mixes and little frickies and shit.
Word.
Nah, so like, what got you to like go full in, like put your feet in, and be like, I'm gonna get the equipment, I'm gonna put the money up, I'm gonna really practice this.
Yeah. Well, for one, I'm gonna take a step back real quick to add one more little panel that I was really proud of that me and I actually did together. We did the post incarceration panel about the implications of like what incarceration does to you as a person, not just economically, and like that. Shout out to Leslie Robinson. Shout out to everybody that was involved with that. One of the most powerful experiences I ever had in my life to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like couples flourished from that and all of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like actually, boom, real quick. So we had this panel, right? And then one of the dudes that was IG live in the whole thing in the background, buff dude. So he just got out, finished doing 25 years. That like he been out for like a week, right? Wow. At that point, and he kind of like shared that experience, like and at the event. And then he was talking about how simple things like shopping, how rough and psychologically like disarraying that is. Where it's kind of like in jail for 25 years, you get 7 items or whatever number it is to choose from for your entire time there. And then you go to the supermarket, when you get out, there's a whole bread aisle. You know what I'm saying? Or you go to eat and then you open up the menu at one of these Greek restaurants and it's like 40 items just on one page. And then the waitress go, all right, you ready to order? What do you want? And the dude's like, what do you got? It's kind of like, wow, I never thought about that. I know dudes who said that and I thought they was goofy as hell. Now I'm like, damn, I was goofy as hell for judging them like that. Turns out, so he ended up, him and Leslie Robinson, they actually linked up, became a loving couple and all of that. And they started programs together. And then the dude passed away.
What?
Facts. From like other little health complications that kind of just came out of nowhere. But that's been low-key brewing on the low end. So it's kind of like, damn, like they connected by random. He just happened to be at that event. And then she's running this entire initiative. And then that incentive, that turns into a whole, and then like, you know what I'm saying? Just things like that could change somebody's whole trajectory of their life, where it's kind of like, at least before he passed, you know what I'm saying, he was with somebody that he, you know what I'm saying, was able to connect with on that level and really make an impact. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like fate, so it was tragic how it happened, but I'm still kind of happy for him, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful story, man.
Yeah. So, but to the DJing thing. So shout out to Henry C. Shout out to DJ Tropic. You know what I'm saying? Those are the two senseis, OD. You know what I'm saying? There was DJs that I met all over, and I picked up a little game from all of them, but it was Henry C who and Tropic that would give me the rants. I'm here for the rants all day, every day. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know how Henry is, you know how he talk, man. He ain't trying to be politically correct about nothing. He ain't trying to be nice about nothing. He like low key just come off angry about shit. But I like that. It's passionate. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, don't be out here doing no fuck shit, Q. You gotta be out here. You gotta get lazy about it. It's about, it's not just about blending for the sake of blending. You gotta, and he'll give me his story, what he had to go through to get where he at, what it took for him to be able to do what he do, why he do what he do, and the philosophical background behind these elements of DJing, and why vinyl DJs turn their nose up at controller DJs. So as a controller DJ, it's easy to get offended by like how these vinyl DJs be treating controller DJs, or just talk about them, or just act with them, or whatever. But I also understand the beef that vinyl, or the judgments that a lot of vinyl DJs have with controller DJs. It's not just the fact that they use controllers. It's just the fact that the fact that it's a vinyl, you can't arbitrarily really do anything. Everything is very hands-on. It takes effort, consciousness, and mindfulness to do and it takes a certain level of appreciation for the song, and the transitions. to be willing to go through all of that. So what he taught me was that, or what they both taught me was, so like, all right, if you're going to do this controller thing, at least be as mindful with that. Like, okay, it creates a lot of shortcuts for you now since you have those shortcuts. All right, so accomplish more then.
Right.
You know, play that forward. So, and they taught me how to work on that, how to develop that. He taught me the benefits of linking with other DJs and trading perspectives and trading methods and all of that, and shit like that. And then seeing a vinyl DJ finally touch a controller and being like, "Oh, this ain't so bad." Actually, kind of made my life a little bit easier.
You and Henry lived in the same apartment for a while, right?
That was my roommate. Facts.
Yeah, because I remember coming over for a couple of those sessions where y'all would just vibe out and play tunes and DJ and kind of go back and forth on, like in the same way MCs might cipher to sharpen their skills. It was more like a DJ kind of just rocking out in the living room, but still had to be like, oh no, even though we in the living room, we gonna go in.
That's a fact. Like he would invite some DJs over, like how a rapper would invite over rappers. You know what I mean? Whether it's to chop it up about rap, well in their case DJing, and then like play around with sets, and then like give each other gigs and all of that. So, and then every now and then he'll let me like play around, try it, and be like, it's not as scary as it looks, and all of that. And then he'll cut my ass if I do something wrong. You know what I'm saying? But like in a helpful way, or at least he tried to make it helpful. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just waking up or just being in the crib and seeing that he's putting like an hour minimum into just, I'm just going to just go to the table and I'm just going to just work on this thing I've been trying to get right. There's one thing that he would probably do at a gig for like a split second. He's practicing for like an hour just on that one little part. And I'm like, oh, okay, copy.
Yeah. I mean, people don't know now because we do so much live music. But when Brooklyn Wildlife started, it was centered around the DJ. I mean, Keith, as a co-founder of Brooklyn Wildlife, was a DJ, and almost every show we did, there was a DJ and records, and like that's how again I know DJ Dr. Hollywood. He was a DJ. I was the dude carrying crates. Like I was one of the cast that was like, I'm not the groupie, I'm not the roadie, I throw the show. But he can't show up unless I carry these crates with him.
That's a fact. Let's get it.
And so and sometimes it'd be other people carrying the crates. I'm like, yo, I got to go set up the equipment. Yo, can you help keep carrying? Batman's like, why you got all this shit? You can use the Serato. Fuck Serato. And we were from that era where like we not from the 80s. We not from the 90s. We still young, but we were still right before everyone did Serato. And now everyone does it. But I remember that transition where like Henry and Tropic and all of them were like, a what?
Yeah.
What?
They both using Serato.
But yeah, and so now can you let us know a bit more of where you at now? Because I mean, we've been talking a lot about the past. We've been talking about 2013, 2014, 2012, if not even earlier. Where you at now?
So right now, I mean, at least up until this quarantine mess, I actually like, right before this all happened, I wanted to go, full time. I've been doing a lot of things, just for the more flexibility to apply the time, so I don't have to feel like I'm rushing events together or I'm rushing a DJ set together. So I was doing like a lot of live audio engineering for events, throwing events, DJing, even jumping on the Uber Eats or whatnot, just to tie any loose ends and just whatever else I get my hands on. Because before that, I was full-time case manager at a shelter. I was a case manager for a few years, just in social work in general. And just kind of like, just to be honest, like I was jaded by the whole industry. You know what I'm saying? Where it's kind of feel like I'm throwing spoons of water at a forest fire, or just feeling like I'm working against myself in certain ways, and kind of feel like I'm inexpendable, and like all these ways that's like, all right, once I have all these issues from the work, like y'all not even going to be there to help. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, y'all overpaying all these cats that they don't even know what any of this life is like. Meanwhile, I'm from this life, and I'm part of what feels like patronizing the problem. When it's kind of like I'm like, I can't do it no more. Or at least there's things pulling at me that I want to try to build to where I can at least have equity. That's all we want, equity. You know what I'm saying? Like So that I was kind of just pursuing that, and just working in multimedia, working with like fashion, there's people in my family, my close circle who are like creatives in various ways, and we all just work together on projects and monetize what we can, but we're powered by our ambitions with the culture.
Yeah, like your brother is also MC. I remember he came by for one of the shows. Yeah. And now he's doing fashion. He has his own line.
Yeah. Shout out to Nifty Clothing. It's on IG. It's Nifty Clothing NYC. But yeah, man, he actually got me rapping. He's actually also one of my favorite rappers. He's also like gave me tips on how to like present myself better fashion wise since we was kids too. And so like in the past few years he really picked up on a Nifty Clothing thing. So he makes every piece by hand, be delivering and mailing the pieces, whatever you need. And so I kind of just started working with him more, whether helping them process orders, and we was like kind of like plotting out whole photo shoots and fashion shows, so on and so forth. Like before all this happened, they was getting ready for like a fashion show in like DC, and just trying to help build this production staff a bit for them, just so we need more eyes and press to help fund that, So right now he's still doing some orders, but obviously it's clearly slower. But he's been tapping more into rapping, and just for fun right now, playing around with the DJing thing with some of the spare time. I'll never forget this though, because for years, right, I was like, yo, you got to meet somebody who I consider a big bro, and if a big brother tell a little brother there's somebody that he consider a big bro, that's like a big deal, right?
Right.
So I'm like, yo, I consider do like a big bro, man. He put me on this and that. You see, all this cool shit I'm doing now, and I be pulling you in. Yo, he put me on that saying, well, you got me. And he like, all right, bet. And this is already after he done seen the videos, the fishnet party, all this and that. And you know what kind of culture I come from. I always, some things like that could be considered too edgy sometimes, like as far as certain things that happen. For example. Right? So I remember you threw this party, or just to set a little more of the context. I remember you had a fishnets party, right, in your crib where the dress code is you can only get in if you're wearing fishnets. And I was out of town, and I was kind of mad that I was out of town, but I was also kind of glad because this is why. Because while I'm out of town, somebody posted on my wall. You say, "Yo, I better not see no pics of you being tagged. I better not see you tagged and no pics of you being at that party. I'm watching." Like he was joking, but he was dead ass.
Yeah.
So it was like funny and a little bit sad. Like so fast forward, I'm finally able to get my brother all the way over the middle of Bushwick, and the night before you had like some party and you had like this big ass fucking poster of like a dick, obviously, with a nail going through it. Like,
oh yeah,
HD,
yeah.
Printed out over next to the wall, right? And there's like titties all over your wall. No, the dick was next to the door. So when you walk in, that's the first thing you see.
Yep.
Right. And then soon when you get in, then there's like even more nudity. There's like everything, but it's also like, so you see like a pair of tits, two dicks, one tit, and then you see like this dope ass classic pic of like Mobb Deep. And then you see like a naked photo of somebody who's also in the room with us, like like just kicking it, smoking a blunt. Here you go, like that. So we get there, and I open the door. First thing I see is the big ass billboard of the dick, and I'm like, my brother's behind me with his friend. I'm like, oh, fuck, why today? Like, at least let us get into this, so at least he can see the titties first. And he'd be offset by that or whatever. But so I'm like, all right, babe, all right, Q, just act natural. So I'm walking forward and I see you. I'm like, yo, what up, bro? Hey, what's going on, man? Yo, I want you to meet my younger brother. My brother never walked in. He stayed in the hallway. He saw the picture, then he bailed out. So,
I mean, that shit was wild. Like the door opened, I'm like, oh, it's cute. And he's like, yo, it's my brother. I'm like, yo, what up? Start walking in, and then you go to do the actual like introduction, and your brother just stayed in the hallway. Your brother and the homie stayed in the hallway. And I'm like, did they leave? Like, what happened? And like, you went out to talk to him or something. It's like, yeah, they good, yo. They probably, they're gonna dip back uptown. And I'm like, what?
He said he probably gonna dip back uptown. And we
y'all came all the way out.
They got hour rides. They just got off the train.
Yeah, I remember that photo. That was my homie Connor, and like the nail wasn't really in his dick, but it looked like it. It looked like, I mean, like literally, the photo was like him standing there with like the hammer and the nail, and it was like, oh, y'all serious around here? Yeah.
Word, but like it just took time. I didn't prep him, whatever, and that was kind of like led to other talks that we had to have, you know what I'm saying, about certain things. And he's caught off guard. So fast forward, he does eventually make it inside, and he actually brought our dad through. And you got a chance to meet my dad, you know what I'm saying? So like we all was chopping it up, and he just got out of jail too. So y'all are chatting, and he's like, "Yo, man, you a cool dude, deep brother." And my brother like, "Yeah, word, yo, it's crazy." And I had my brother perform at the Brooklyn Wildlife Summer Festival with me. Biggest crowd he ever performed in front of. One of our favorite songs together. We got footage of it that we'll always cherish. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just let you know, like, sometimes, like, certain judgments and assumptions can block your blessings,
I mean, and then we also ended up in a cipher together over at Paco's crib when your brother came through.
Oh, yeah, that made me really happy, though.
And your brother had, like, kept rapping. Like, I'm used to cats where they'll freestyle for a second or they got a verse or two. No. But once you go a couple rounds, they like, all right, I'm going to take a seat. No. Your brother was like, hold on, I got more. Run it back. Like, play more beats. Like, yo, what's good?
Yeah, that's the school of MCing we come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, rap really got us and get us through things before there was any access to a booth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're not even making it to the studio until you already prove you can go rounds.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the generation we come from. Now it's kind of like, all right, you can make a song from your phone before you even hit a stage. You probably got like a whole mixtape, but like, nah, man, he was rapping before me.
Word. Nah, and now I'm gonna let people know. I'm not gonna get into the details, but Que Cee did end up in the fish nest at one of the parties. All right.
Yeah, man, I ain't need to hear that, man. No, actually, I was in the party. I snuck in, but I might be in one of them classified photos, though. You know what I'm saying? That was for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, my brother ain't got to see it. Everybody ain't got to see it. Whatever.
But nah, man. And speaking of some of your work community-wise, from the time that I'd met you, you had been involved with, I think, Robin Hood program or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Shout out to the fam over at Robin Hood, man. That was a valuable experience that I had, yo. It turned out to be a bit too much for me for one reason or the other. But definitely I value every, like the people that I worked with over there, some of the sweetest people I ever met. You know what I'm saying? So Robin Hood, they basically like they give grants to other nonprofits throughout the city, and they kind of gun for like the most effective nonprofits. So they kind of like figured out a science because it was like co-founded and it's like co-run by like economists and all of that stuff. So they kind of figured out a way to effectively compare apples and oranges in a certain kind of way and quantify things that people didn't believe was quantified or didn't have the resources to like quantify those things. So investors like that, people who are millionaires and billionaires who are looking to donate into something, they like that. So, Robin Hood, they became like a really good focal point for people to try to like feel like their dollars are being used the most effectively.
And so I bring that up to say that like you've always had kind of this attachment or this understanding that music and art has an ability to create opportunities for people, has a way to reach into communities where there are very few opportunities. Yeah. And in your personal life, I feel like you've always endeavored to make sure you were connected with folks, that you've never been like a lofty, distant, like, yo, don't come talk to me type of cat. I feel like you've always been looking to give other people opportunities, looking to inform other people, give people educational experiences. And so now that you're doing this stuff like full time, how are you able to incorporate that?
Well, to be honest, these last few weeks, I've been like living off my 403B, to be real. Like I just kind of needed this time to just reset and just to get my mind right, because it was like a big blow because, for various reasons, self-care and whatnot. So, but one of the things I'm definitely looking to get more into is back into this podcast space. And, probably the writing space, but definitely the podcast space. We had like this open mic at Star Bar called No Artist Info. And shout out to Charm. She's also the co-host. So she's been running like the online open mic on IG Live. you know, I kind, you know what I'm saying, I kind of like step back from that because I'm like, I wasn't even on social media like that. I'm like, I can't even commit to that right now. But I've been like part of the alumni board for Year Up, which is the program that trained me in IT. So I mean, so we're kind of like in a space where we're kind of like trying to figure out how to adapt and adjust to maybe more of an online space. But initially, I was part of the events committee. You know, actually, it's a shirt that I'm wearing right now. Year Up, New York. It's like an intensive training program. They teach all kinds of stuff. They basically, you know what I'm saying, like help you find ways to like work your way into like the back door of industries that are usually like coast guarded by like credentials and money.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now, just kind of like gearing up for the next move and like, you know, deciding what those next steps are going to be in more depth. And just self-caring right now and just really trying to get back in touch with like some fans, some some fam and friends and stuff like that.
All right. Now, before we get out of here, you also have a group, Vice Versus.
Yeah.
And you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So shout out to Domo So Crazy. You know what I'm saying, Bronxite. Yeah, we've been rapping together for like a decade or whatnot. And just a few years ago, we came together because we both rap and we both DJ. So we like to play around with that dynamic to see how, you know, robust we can make the performance experience and stuff, and the event experience. So we've been doing that for a while. We actually have like a bunch of unreleased records that we're figuring out, you know, how and when we want to put things out and how we want to package it or whatnot. But we definitely are anything but like off the whole music thing. But yeah, that's like one of my best friends, man. You know, I consider him like a brother. And yeah, so right now we both kind of like just trying to like make sure we get through.
Yeah.
They get through all of this, but we've been in touch, you know, get in touch with the music, we readjusting ourselves. But yeah, but I'm really like, because we got like songs that we really like that we want to put out. So we trying to figure out when, where, and how we want to put it out.
Right. Well, before we get out of here, man, you got any memorized verses? You got your verse from Legacy?
Oh, hell yeah. Come on, man.
Can you give us that real quick before we dip out of here?
You want one or two?
The one that got my favorite line in it. So the second verse, I think.
Okay. What's that line about?
I mean, there's one that's like, we litty now.
Copy. So it goes just applying what I learned from Jigga. Hold on, I gotta start with the chorus because it's only right.
Yeah,
so it goes Bob at the block. It's a Bob at the block, that's your legacy. Everything that you cop is your legacy. Don't let nobody play with your legacy. Legacy. We trying to see, but we never see. If we just trying to be, but we never see. I just pray that my seed is a better me. Legacy. Just applying what I learned from Jigga. Hunger for more, we gonna do it bigger. You look at me, you to see it, nigga. One day you really gonna see the vision, but the pressure and shit of oppression and depression and shit got me stressing. But the piffery, that's the medicine. So it's litty now, time to set us in. 2 weapons on me, do the pepper seed. We gonna get ours by any means, but don't get a haters, no energy. Ain't worthy of being enemies. I put that on my life, on my legacy. Won't let nobody fuck on my legacy. Hold my kids benefit from my legacy. So what's your legacy? Bob at the block, that's your legacy. Everything that you cop is your legacy. You know how I go, you know?
Yeah. But yo, that verse, also the hook and this idea of like buy back the block. Like there's this whole idea of like leave the hood, this whole idea of get out of where you from. And I've always been like, damn, like, and leave my friends, leave my family, leave everyone else and get away. Or why don't we take what we got in terms of our resources, our skill sets, and instead of letting the gentrifiers change our neighborhood, we change our own neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that line though, the we litty now, Thomas Edison said, I'm like, yeah.
Yo, good looking, bro.
Word. Well, good, man. I'm glad we had a chance to bring you on. I'm gonna have to bring you on again, and we can go deeper into some various topics.
Absolutely.
You want to give a shout out to anybody? Because also you've been at the joints, like you know about the Brooklyn wildlife, where I forgot some of the stuff you even know about. And I'm kind of worried about some of the stories you were there for.
Bro, listen, I can make it hot right now.
You're like, oh yeah, so that night you got locked up. It's like, yo, hold on, dog.
Yeah,
like, hold up. But I want to say thank you for being you, for always being positive vibes.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, when I first met Q, I didn't know when he was joking or kidding. His grandma used to definitely say shit where I'd be like, motherfuckers don't make fun of me. Like, I don't think he understands. Like, that's not how it works around here. I fuck around and I like joking and smiling, but Bama's don't be cutting my ass. That's not what we do around here.
Not in my house.
And Q would be like, while I'm cutting that ass. Like, and but I appreciate that, man. You never let me get outside of the fact that we are people, we are here to share, have a good time, you know, take it light. Don't always be so serious, you know. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro, I appreciate that, man. And speaking of shout outs, man, shout out to you, bro. One of my favorite MCs, one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. You know what I'm saying? Going back to like sometimes you be rapping 100 miles a minute, mad SAT words, and then like for like some of us, we be like, huh, what? And then you see this one dude in the back that caught it, you be like, yo, this man's nice. so all that, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Que Cee, shout out to Taekwon, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Chris Chinchilla. Shout out to Johnny Voltic, Rue Brown, you know what I mean? DJ Tropic, Henry C, you know, so many of the artists that's been there to inspire me. A lot of things that I'm doing, Johnny, PB&J, all of that, man. Love y'all, man.
Word. Yeah, one of these days we gonna have to figure out how to have the family reunion. I know we kind of like some of the cousins don't really speak to the cousins anymore, but we still family. You know, it's still all love.
Yeah, I might do a little live DJ set of all that.
Oh man! All right, bet. Well, if anyone wants to find you, what's your Twitter, Instagram, or you gotta catch you in person?
Largely, you gotta just catch me in person, but otherwise, IG is DJ QUECEE. IG. Also, you can find me on Facebook. You know, QUE space CEE. You know, and just, you know, hit me up. I'll get back to you eventually, you know, especially during this quarantine. But otherwise, just peep the timeline. I might throw some stuff on there. I'm just not in my inbox like that.
Yeah, I mean, Q also would disappear on a motherfucker. There are times where I talk to you multiple times a week, and then it'll be weeks, and I'll be like, yo, you alive? And you're like, yep. And that's it. Like, you be like, I'm alive. And then another couple weeks later, you'd be like, yo, dog, I got this idea. Let's do this. And I'm like, oh, all right. I didn't know if you just stopped liking me or some shit. But I never trip. I'm never the dude that's like, why the fuck you ain't hit me? I'm like, all right, Q need his time. Q in the hyperbaric bubble. He'll be back.
Right, the hyperbolic bubble.
All right, man. So we're closing out. This has been a wonderful interview with Que Cee. My name is Chris Carr. You may know me as Parnhashnikovsky, Brooklyn Wildlife. And this show is called Just for My People. If you'd like to be featured on it or want to be interviewed, hit me up. Let's chat. I got to bring Mandela on one time. I got to get my homie Shadi on here at some point. Yo, Becky, let me know if you want to be on here. Yeah, this has been awesome. Thanks, Q.
Thank you, bro.
All right, peace.